This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. So first and foremost, let me just go over our quick disclaimer. Before we begin, we must provide a disclaimer that the following information provided is not investment advice. Our methods, teachings, and content are for educational purposes only. All materials and lessons are protected assets of Market Making Strategies, LLC. Any plagiarism or sharing of our content is strictly prohibited, and any violators are subject to applicable laws. Now that we're done with that, let's get right in. We don't have much time. So there is some interesting stuff, and we have to obviously make a huge consideration today that we are on election day. So with that being said, we could be seeing, and most likely we'll see, a lot of volatility, things changing. So the first stock, which we saw lots of buying and building in yesterday, we know will be an actively traded stock today. It already is actively trading. And I've already seen huge buying at 38, and 38.10 really stood out to me. And it's interesting because it's towards the high of the pre-market. So with that being said, 38 and 38.10. Now, that's naturally going to have a price target of 40. The 38.10 stood out in such a way that that could happen today. Keep that number in mind. 38.10 should be circled. Now, if we know it's got all this buying, it's already pulled back to build above 37. So now we would want to see it within open and having the right volume in order for those to come in. Now we know that DJT is going to have a lot of volume, a lot of consistent volume. So it's the substance within the prints. We don't want it to be mixed. We want it to be clear, showing that that money is going into money time. So you will have the volume, just have the clarity and substance in the prints. Understand what the print personality is. We don't quite have an understanding of that, but if I looked at it right now, it's a 3 to 4 prints. If we look at 37.30, 37.43, 37.50. It's more of a 3 to 4 print personality, which makes complete sense with the type of volume we can expect for it to trade. So we're going to be looking at a target of 40 off the 38.10s and the build that we've seen. Number 2 is PLTR. PLTR, although we don't speak on it, it just happened to literally yesterday, had great earnings. So we know it's going to move today. I've watched it in pre-market. I saw lots of buying prior to lots of short-term money makers aligning already. It's a 3 to 4 print personality. This stock is very active, considering right now that it's impossible for market makers to make money. We could still see a move going back up. Keep an eye on 48. 48 would be a big number. There was huge buying in Palantir prior to 8 o'clock at 47, 99, and 48. That tells us with the 99s and the 48, it still has the ability to move closer towards 50, being a psych level and a magnet. And we have the buying in order for that to happen. Again, this is more of an everyday stock. This will be having a lot of attention. A lot of the big banks, a lot of the big trading desks will be trading this stock. So be patient. Wait for clarity. Remember one thing, if we know this has the possibility to move from 48 all the way to 50, that gives us $2. Don't be so eager to get in too early. If you have to get in after seeing clarity, after it's seeing move away from where the market maker is, you have plenty of room. This is a type of stock that most likely will trade a lot smoothly with a lot of good volume. So be patient and choose your high percentage entry and your high percentage exit. If it is to move towards 50, you know that's a huge psychological number. So keep that in mind at all times. Number 3, ALBT. This I was looking at in the morning. It was looking rather nice. It did have 5 ask, and we can, as we know, 5 is a huge psychological number, so we can't expect it just to move past 5 on its own without the presence of retail. Wouldn't make sense. But we have seen them build from 5 to 4. I believe that's a huge range for a cheap stock to build. So we would have to keep a very good eye on above 4. And as we can see from 7 o'clock, a lot of the activity once it moved past 4 started to occur. Most of the pre-market trading and movement was above 4. So 4 will be interesting to see what happens, but it has been building more than it has done anything else. Again, this would require huge volume. So keep volume in mind. The buying at 5, again, it's a psychological number. I would not target past 5 given that we're already at 4. I would have 5 as my first target to see whether it's going to show the prints, the short term, and the volume to move past 5 rather quick and not have it get in the way. But because it's such a huge number, because this is a cheap stock and we're already at 4 here, we would literally need to see what 5 shows us again. There is a good chance we could see more prints at 5 if it goes there. But if it starts breaking 4, this could easily be one of those stocks that is just acquiring, and it could go down and acquire the rest of the day and not be much use after the first 5-10 minutes. So remember one thing on all your stocks, especially cheap stocks, be mindful about the time that you spend looking at a stock. The first 15, 30, 45 minutes of the market is when we get the most volume. That's when we're going to have the ability to find our first trades. If you spend too much time on stocks that have no reasoning to then go to make money today or to go towards their targets today, you are going to waste time watching a stock build or sell off or do nothing. So be mindful, keep that in mind. Number 4, I saw AGFY called in the chat. I was looking at this, and to be quite honest with you, great volume, 20-cent increments. I saw 2 to 3 print personality, but it was a bit too mixed for me. Yes, there was some clarity in there, but it was far too mixed. Another problem I have is after that major bar, which came in around about 8.54, we can see that the volume has continued to wane off. Not a good sign if they are looking to actively trade this in the open. This could also mean that the work that they needed to do, building or what may have you, they have already completed. So I am not seeing this as one of my highest stocks. This is definitely side list. Lastly, I am going to talk about a stock that had a lot of potential yesterday, which is SMCI. We know there was a lot of buying in this stock, and throughout the day it simply built. There was a lot of build. The stock has lost a lot of value. So this could be covering from shorts who have seen that this was going to happen and a demise in the short-term price of the stock. So this could just be covering. But even with the covering, we have seen that that covering has had buying as well. People who are acquiring at a low price believe there's a future for the company. So with that being in mind, I still have a price target of 30 for this stock. So just keep an eye to see if there's any trading that comes in the open market. Apart from that, I've been looking around. I just don't see anything worth spending any time on, taking our focus off. Remember, we could go ahead and find 8, 10, 12 different stocks. But the key to trading is making sure your attention and focus is going in the high percentage setups. That is where our high percentage trades will lie. So with that being said, those are your stocks for this morning. Make sure that you have all this written down. Understand your options for each of the high percentage stocks and what it would need to look like for it to be then a high percentage trade. Apart from that, let's all help each other. Let's stay active in the chat, focus on your trading, and let's have a great morning. If anybody has any questions, please feel free quickly. If there's a stock that you've seen, if there's something you'd like me to have a quick look at, just type it in the chat and I'll have a look. I'll give you guys a few minutes just to see if there's anything that you want me to go over. Even if it's a stock from before where you've seen buying and you had a question, we could do that as well. I'll give you a minute to see if you guys have any questions. If not, we need to get ready to trade. Okay, don't see no questions. Thank you all. Have a wonderful morning. As I said, work together, focus, plan your trades, plan your targets, and make sure you are managing correctly. Have a wonderful morning. Thank you very much.